Resident Evil is an iconic franchise in the world of gaming, having been around for decades and having grown better and better with each game. However, after the more controversial release of RE7, Capcom went silent for a while until the release of Resident Evil Biohazard in 2017, which introduced the world to Ethan and Mia Winters. These two random Americans with a rocky relationship riddled with lies and secrets, whilst still filled with love and care, became the center of the next installment in Resident Evil Village, or RE8, where instead of a frantic husband searching for his wife and then a way to escape the house of horrors she's been trapped in and cure her, a distraught father searches for his lost daughter in a remote mountain village in Romania. RE8 introduces us to Mother Miranda, the main antagonist, and her cult that rules the titular village. This cult is led by 4 mutant lords, all victims of Miranda's experimentation with the fungal root that grew beneath the village called the Megamycete, or as it comes to be known as by the village, the Black God. These 4 lords all have their own diverse storylines and theming, along with their own fascinating inspirations, lore, and other traits that instantly drew people's attention to the game. Alcina de Matresque, the elegant vampiric lady of Castle de Matresque, ruling the castle with her $3 that could be killed with a nice breeze and some raid. Salvatore Moreau, the grotesque mutant who owns the reservoir, also the worst outcome of Miranda's experiments, also just look at him. Ugh. Carl Heisenberg, the enigmatic and eccentric inventor who owns the factory and performs Frankenstein-esque experiments on the deceased men of the village. And finally, the topic of today's video, also my favorite one, Donna Beneviento, the mysterious doll maker who resides in her family home deep within a valley of mist with her dolls. So let's get started with her backstory. Starting off with disclaiming her, I have only played RE8 and 7, along with the remake of RE4. I do not consider myself an expert on the lore of Resident Evil, but I do consider myself knowledgeable on the lore of Resident Evil Village. The first thing we learn about Donna's parents is that they apparently died, supposedly when she was young, as it's mentioned in the gardener's notes that Miranda adopted Donna. Now, before we go further, somewhere it is mentioned either in concept material or in in-game notes that the Beneviento parents threw themselves off the cliff the house was built on and into the waterfall next to it. It is also very possible that this is just a case of fanon interpretation being misinterpreted to be canon. Now, to properly get us started here, I'll go through the only real backstory we get on Donna through the gardener's diary file. November 10th. Mistress Donna is now Mother Miranda's adoptive daughter. In all my years, I've never been this overjoyed. Ever since childhood, she's always feared others due to the scar across her face. After her parents' death, she locked herself away and would only talk to Angie, the doll her father made her. I'm forever thankful for Mother Miranda's infinite compassion. November 27th. Mistress Donna seems happy. It might be my imagination, but I feel like her doll Angie's even more livelier than before. She came to talk to me in the garden today and used Angie to talk with me. We had a mighty fine conversation. Something about receiving a gift of power from Mother? November 29th. Mistress Donna gave me yellow flowers and told me to plant them in the garden. I planted them in front of Miss Claudia's grave. I don't know if it was the scent of the flowers, but I felt lightheaded. Then, like a dream, I saw my departed wife. I mentioned this to Donna, and she seemed thrilled by it. She told me to go to the house tomorrow and see her. She said I could see my family once more. I'm not sure what she meant by that, but she's so kind. Unfortunately, it seems Donna wasn't so kind, as that's the last we hear of the gardener. Doubly unfortunately, we have little to no files on Donna, besides the gardener's diary and Donna's medical records. Thus, we know very little about Donna's nature, although it seems to be one of kindness. Throughout her section of the game, House Beneviento, we get bits and pieces of what she's like as a character and person. Although the entire section is extremely traumatic for Ethan and psychologically damaging for him, when playing through it, I can't help but feel like she's trying to warn us, to tell us of something that she herself may actually be misinformed on. At the end of the first section of the game, Castle de Matresque, the Duke, the mysterious merchant who accompanies Ethan on his journey, also probably the village champion for how fast can you get frostbite and gout all at once, informs Ethan that his daughter has been crystallized and split up into 4 flasks given to the 4 lords to protect should Ethan come looking for them. Donna was given the legs flask. It's heavily implied the lords were all aware of Rose's power in biology as a hybrid. At least Heisenberg specifically is aware of this, so it's reasonable to assume the others are to an extent as well. Suddenly, things start to make much more sense within the walls of House Beneviento. Donna's only line in the entire game is,
"Don't leave. I can't let you."
Never does she explicitly say she wishes to kill Ethan to keep it from disrupting the ceremony or to prove herself better. In fact, Angie continuously implies and even outright states she wants to be Ethan's daughter in place of Rose. Given that Angie is controlled by Donna, it's difficult to discern if Angie has a personality of her own, or if it's merely an extension of Donna's. Even then, with how Donna or Angie never outright kill Ethan themselves, it's reasonable to assume that she actually meant him no harm. However, there are 2 cases where this is called into question. The baby, which stalks Ethan in the basement, attempting to consume him, and the dolls that attack Ethan during Angie's game of hide and seek if he isn't quick enough in finding her. But only really the former can I confidently explain. The baby is, simply put, a figment of Ethan's hallucinations induced by Donna. Throughout House Beneviento, Donna has Ethan under her control, trapping him in an illusion in the house. I believe the baby is actually Donna's way of telling Ethan that Rose, at least to her, is or can become a monster, trying to warn him of this horrible truth about his own child. Although the baby can kill Ethan if it gets too close to him, it's worth reiterating the baby isn't real. The likely situation with the death scene is that Ethan actually has a heart attack and dies instead of being devoured by some grotesque baby monster kept locked in the basement. Moving on, the actual boss fight against Donna is extremely terrifying when you think about it. Outside of the hallucination, with clues found around the house during the scene, we can assume that Donna is who Ethan's actually stabbing whenever he finds Angie. Meaning that Donna is essentially hiding in her own home, trying desperately to evade Ethan, who is trying to kill her. Add on the implication that Ethan kills Donna with his bare hands due to him not having the scissors upon Donna's death, despite having them mere seconds ago. You can only imagine just how terrified Donna must have truly been. There's also the fact that in the first introduction we get to all of the lords, we see Donna and Moreau are both situated right next to Miranda, possibly indicating that they are the only ones who actually view her as a mother figure. Especially as Heisenberg is actively working against her, and Alcina just views herself as Miranda's favorite. At her age and her role as a mother herself, and it's difficult to believe Alcina actually views Miranda as her mother, and more so an authority figure that she wants the approval of. Until Ethan starts killing her insect children, and she makes everyone wish they were this vanity mirror, and actively starts trying to kill Ethan.